Here's a New Year message for you to send. Earth is protected by me and my mates, this year and every other. Here we go!
What's going on, guys? This is Entertainment Critic here, and welcome to my Doctor Who series ranking. Now, it's going to be a bit of a longer video, so sit back. I'm going to be doing this slightly differently to most of my other rankings. The only way I can really accurately rank Doctor Who is through the amount of episodes I like in each series, so that means that some series like Series 7 might be bogged down quite a bit because I attached the Series 7 specials, so Name of the Doctor, Time of the Doctor, and Day of the Doctor. That trilogy is still attached to Series 7, so that puts its overall episode count up higher than the rest of the other series. So that has dragged it down a bit, but it's the only fair way I could do it. I have counted the David Tennant specials as their own series because they took place over 2009, and they were actually structured like a series with kind of like an arc. So they do count as their own. So we got 13 slots to go through. Starting in at number 13, this might surprise a lot of people. This list did surprise me. So, number 13, we have Series 9.
Who told you about me? The man who comes from the battle and runs away from the fallout.
You've had an impact on this world. You've made waves.
Sometimes tidal waves.
Now, Series 9, it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. They have your standout episodes. So you have episodes like the Zygon episode, you have Heaven Sent, Face the Raven. But other than that, I think the rest of Series 9 is meh or really, really bad. So you got your Hellbents in there, your Husbands of River Song. Husbands of River Song isn't that bad, it's more of a meh, it's enjoyable, but wouldn't rank it as top, upper echelon of episodes. The Dalek two-parter I'm not that fond of anymore. The Under the Lake, the Lake two-parter is really enjoyable, I do enjoy that. But this series has a lot of really, really low lows, but its high highs isn't enough to really bring it up any higher than I have it. Overall, I do think that there are some standout performances from Jenna Coleman. In parts, Face the Raven, more so, I think is her best episode, and she does really well playing two different, a villain and Clara in the Zygon two-parter. And I do like how it ends off with her realizing that she can't be like the Doctor, and ends up killing her. So that was something that I did like. I was waiting for that, especially watching it live at the time. So, I say that this is probably the lowest point that Doctor Who's ever come for me. Maybe barring another series, we'll get onto that soon. You won't be surprised where that one's coming. But again, I think you can guess what's coming next anyway. So, moving for number 12 slot to the surprise of no one, we have Series 11.
She thinks that thing is an alien.
That'd be daft. There's no such thing as aliens.
Why not? I'm alien and I'm here.
Grace, we're going.
This is proper awesome.
Is this normal for you? I'm just a traveller. Sometimes I see things need fixing. Do what I can.
Now, Series 11, I respect it for what it was trying to do. It was trying to be something different, it was trying to be refreshing for the show, and I do think it fails in what it was trying to do. Jodie's Doctor really doesn't click with me in Series 11. She does in Resolution, but that's now been attached to Series 12, so I can't really credit her for that in this series. The Companions, Yasmin has nothing to do. She can be taken out of Series 11, and there is no difference. It just doesn't change. Like episodes like Demon of the Punjab, which was supposed to specifically focus in on her, you learn more about her family than you do about Yasmin. She doesn't really have many interactions with what's going on in the world around her, and that's down to the writing. The writing took a serious nosedive going into Series 11, and I know there's people that like this series, and I completely respect you for liking this series, but I overall think that it overall fails, but there are more episodes that I like, so that's what put it above Series 9, which is the funny thing. So, the episodes like Rosa, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, Kerblam, Demons of the Punjab, episodes like that are what put it above Series 9, and also it having a smaller episode count kind of helped it out there, because it only has 10 episodes in Series 11, so it kind of brought its percentage up above Series 9, which kind of helped it out a bit there. But yeah, this was just overall a boring series, especially when you were going on a streak. Like, you had Arachnids in the UK, you had the Saranga Conundrum, and then we got to Demons of the Punjab. So you had a 2-week span where we had 2 really bad episodes, really politically driven episodes. That's another thing about this series. I won't go on and say Doctor Who's never been a politically charged show. It has been. There are subtle undertones going throughout the modern era and even into the classic era, but they've always had better writing to back it up. So when you have episodes like Arachnids in the UK, it can have its political undertones, or even the Saranga Conundrum, it can have its political undertones, but if the writing was better, it wouldn't have been as noticeable, and it would just be another part of the episode, rather than feeling like it's the focus of the episode, which is where Series 11 really gets dragged down for me. Now, the Battle of Ranskor of Kolos, which is a name that is a really stupid name, it doesn't really function as a finale. It just feels like another episode. If it was you put it in any other series, you put it in any other part of the series, and it would just fit right in. There's nothing that really makes it feel like a finale. But I will praise the series for characters and villains like Tim Shaw. That's about it. That's the only good villain that I can remember that's memorable from Series 11. Tim Shaw is good. I do like the voice actor, or the voice modulator that Tim Shaw has, and he's really menacing, especially in The Woman Fell to Earth and the Battle of Ranskor of Kolos. I do like his showdown scene with the Doctor. And if you are rewatching the Battle of Ranskor of Kolos, there are scenes where Jodie does stand out, and you can see the tiniest bits or glimmers of her, what she's like in Series 12, which is a stark difference. So yeah, Series 11 just fails to execute what it was going for, and that's what really drags it down to the bottom of this list. Coming in at number 11, we have Series 7.
Run. Run, you clever boy. And remember me.
Is that her?
The woman twice dead. And her final message.
Now, as I said, Series 7 is unfortunately down this low. I wouldn't put it down this low if it was just me saying how I would rank them normally, but because I'm doing it for the number of episodes liked, giving it the percentage, then it having a large amount of episodes really dragged it down on the list. The specials didn't really help because it's had a lot of specials attached to it. So if it was just the normal 13 episode run, I don't think it would be this low on the list. But because it has more episodes attached to it, unfortunately it gets dragged down. So, yeah, there are some positives about Series 7. I really like the first half, so about like 60% of the first half, so I don't like the Dalek episode. A Town Called Mercy, The Angels Take Manhattan, and The Power of Three are the 3 episodes I really enjoy, and I really do think that The Power of Three and A Town Called Mercy are some underrated gems in Doctor Who. Matt Smith's performances in both of those, and Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill, really bring those episodes up, and is what really dragged this series up for me, so it wouldn't be below Series 11 or below Series 9. Where this series really falls down for me is Series 7B. There are a lot of episodes in this that I don't like, but then there are some really brilliant episodes, like the 50th Anniversary Special or The Time of the Doctor, which are just amazing, and they, in their own right, they should be separated, but they're still a part of Series 7, so I can't separate them. I would love to put those episodes higher on this list, I can't, because it's a part of Series 7. So yeah, this series has some really high highs. Matt Smith is, I think, as Matt Smith goes on in his run, he gets more sillier, and the writing for him becomes a lot more inconsistent. So, Series 5 and Series 6, I can say there's a consistent level for him, and in Series 7, I don't know what they change about him, but I don't like it. I can't really nail it down. There's something changes about him in Series 7, and it doesn't sit right with me. But he is fantastic in the Regeneration episode. It's like, Time of the Doctor is like watching, like, your favorite Doctor is my child. I was 13 years old when Time of the Doctor was airing. And it was watching one of my favorite Doctors be torn away from me piece by piece, watching him get older. It's so good. It's such a good episode. And 50th anniversary special, yes, you could say it's celebrating the modern series. It's celebrating the last 8 years of Doctor Who at that point. Yes, you could say that, but it's still fantastic in its own right. There's so much to like about it, and David Tennant, Matt Smith, John Hurt, Jenna Coleman, Billy Piper, they're all on their A-game in this episode. You've got Time War, you've got the Zygons, you've got the Daleks. There's so much going on in this episode to like, and it's just a roller coaster. I wish I could have seen it in theaters, but I didn't get the chance to see it because no one certainly was showing it. But at the same time, this series does have its very low lows, as does Series 9. So, in this series, you've got episodes like Hyde, which really ruins its own tone for me. You got episodes like Nightmare in Silver, which ruins Neil Gaiman's original idea. You got episodes like The Crimson Horror, The Bells of St. John to a certain extent. The Rings of Akaten is enjoyable, so is The Snowman. Then you got episodes like The Asylum of the Daleks, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. These lows are really, really low lows, and it really does hurt this series more than it helps, and there's far too much Mark Gatiss writing throughout this series, which makes me uncomfortable, and the Chris Chibnall. So yeah, Series 7, if it had less episodes in it, if it had the normal 14 episodes, so 13 episodes and a finale, and a Christmas special, which was standard for the Moffat era, for Matt Smith's era, it would be higher on this list, but because it has all of the specials attached to it, well then, it gets dragged down. So yeah, that's where Series 7 comes in at number 11. Moving into our top 10 now, we have Series 6.
I've been running the fastest I've ever run, and I've been running my whole life. Now it's time for me to stop.
Okay, where are we?
Outside the universe, where we've never ever been.
Now, Series 6 is weird for me. It has a lot of really standout episodes, like A Good Man Goes to War. I really enjoyed the opening America two-parter. There's The Girl Who Waited. But then it has episodes like Let's Kill Hitler and The Wedding of River Song, the Rebel Flesh two-parter. It also has episodes like The Doctor's Wife, though, that bring it up. Matt Smith, like I said, is consistent through this series. I really do like his portrayals of Doctor, and this series, what sells this series the most for me is Amy and Rory's relationship. Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill do a fantastic job at selling Amy and Rory's relationship, and thank God that they do, because this series really focuses in on it. Because obviously we have to reveal that in A Good Man Goes to War, that River Song is actually Amy and Rory's daughter. And that was a shocking reveal for me back in 2011. I really do like that episode. It was the most the Moffat era felt like. It was like in the Journey's End of the TV's era. Otherwise, it hasn't really felt like that. What else to say about this series? The opening in America two-parter was the first time I believe that they've actually done shooting. They did shooting in Utah for that, which was really cool, because it was the first time we've actually seen Doctor Who expanding out, and of course, going into the Moffat era, Moffat was known for expanding Doctor Who beyond the horizons of just the Commonwealth. So it was nice to see Doctor Who recognize the different countries that make up its viewing base, and America obviously being a big percentage of that, especially during the Matt Smith era. I think that if the finale and the series arc is another thing that drags this thing down, if the finale and the series arc held up, this would be a lot higher, because it's such an interesting series arc, having the Doctor dying right at the start of the series, and we're going through the series trying to find out how he died, what's going on, why did the Doctor die. But because I don't think the Wedding of River Song executes it, it's kind of like, we need to end this, and we need to have, all of these elements need to come together, and Moffat's just thrown all of these elements together, and hopes that they mix well, and they just really don't mix that well together. So yeah, that's really what drags down Series 6 for me. Otherwise, so there were fantastic performances, and standout episodes, like I said, but the series arc and the finale really do let this series down. So yeah, Series 6 comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Series 2.
This one knows me, as I know him, the killer of his own kind. Tell me, Doctor, have you known grief and rage and pain?
Yes, I have.
Such a lonely little boy. Lonely then and lonelier now. How can you bear it?
Now, Series 2, if you'd asked me a couple of months ago, would have been a lot lower in this list, and it's still really low, it's at number 9. But, after rewatching it, I have to say that the dynamic between Rose and Ten isn't as jarring. It's still jarring, but it isn't as jarring as I remember it being. It's only in a couple of episodes where it really bogs me, so the Idiot's Lantern and the Fair Hair episodes are 2 episodes where it really bogs me. But overall, it is a really enjoyable series. I don't know why they chose to start off the series with having David Tennant do an impression of Cassandra. It doesn't work, and for starting off a new era with a new Doctor, it's a bit of a weird choice. There are some higher parts of New Earth, but overall, it just doesn't work, and I really don't think that we should have David Tennant doing a shitty impression of Cassandra in his first full story, because he wasn't really in the Christmas Invasion. He had like 15 minutes at the end of it, and I think he probably had about 15 minutes of acting in this one where he was actually doing the 10th Doctor, and it really bugs me. But the series does have its high highs. I won't say that it doesn't. There are episodes like The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit, Army of Ghosts, Doomsday, Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel, where David Tennant is a real standout in the episode. Even School Reunion and Tooth and Claw, where he's mesmerized by the werewolf. I love how he loves it. In love he is with the werewolf as soon as he sees it. Obviously you have returns like Sarah Jane in this series. You have Mickey, who finally gets a good character, and I know No Clark has admitted that he misinterpreted Mickey when he was playing him for the first couple of times, but he really finds his stride in the series too. And Mickey deciding to leave on the parallel Earth is one of the most commendable decisions. He decides that, nope, Rose, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get what I want with you, so I'm going to leave, and I'm going to forge my own path. I'm going to go fight the Cybermen. I'm going to spend time with my grand that I didn't get, and it's such a well done arc for Mickey. He does come back in Doomsday, he does get Rose back, that is a bit of a downgrade, but he did what he should have done from the very start as soon as Rose started getting interested in the Doctor, and that is to get out. That's well done, Mickey. The finale, I love the finale. I didn't used to like the finale because of all the connotations of the 10th Doctor and Rose, but it's nowhere near as bad in this episode as I remember it being. The only gripe that I take with the finale is the fact that we have the Daleks and the Cybermen fighting, and the Daleks completely overpower the Cybermen. There's no chance that the Cybermen stand, and they just get annihilated. But there are some stand-up performances. I love the scene between Pete and Jackie where she's saying, "How rich is he?" That's such a nice scene. Mickey coming back, and the cliffhanger for Army of Ghosts is perfection. You have this Earth, it's already been conquered by the Cybermen. The turtles turn out to be Cybermen, and then on top of that, you have Daleks coming out of the sphere. It's such a good setup, and I feel like Doomsday does deliver on that. It doesn't deliver on the war aspect between the Daleks and the Cybermen, because it was more of a massacre on the Cybermen, but strong finale. I think Series 1's finale rates higher than that. We'll get to Series 1 later. So yeah, Series 2 comes in at number 9. It could be higher, but unfortunately there are a lot of things to drag it down the list for me, so yeah, number 9 it is. Moving down to our number 8 slot, we have Series 8.
I know you're afraid. Being afraid is alright. Because didn't anybody ever tell you? Fear is a superpower. Fear can make you faster and cleverer and stronger. Because if you're very wise and very strong, fear doesn't have to make you cruel or cowardly. Fear can make you kind.
Now, Series 8. When I was watching it initially, when I was watching it with my gran, I've watched every series of Doctor Who with my gran, but when we were watching it initially, we were split completely on this series. My nan didn't like it initially because she thought it was way too dark for her tastes, and I really enjoyed Series 8 the first time I was watching it, but to be fair, when Series 8 was airing, I was 14 years old, so my tastes have differed since then, and I have to say that there are some really standout episodes in this series, like Deep Breath is a good one. I really like Robot of Sherwood. Into the Dalek is a good episode. The Flatline, Mummy on the Orient Express. The first part of the finale, Dark Water, is really good. I don't like Death in Heaven as much. And I do like the Christmas finale, Christmas episode, which is Last Christmas. But overall, I feel that the series lulls are really low. For example, you have In the Forest of the Night, which is a really bad episode. The science doesn't hold up in that episode, and I know for a science fiction show, the science should be holding up to a certain extent. You have episodes like The Caretaker, Time Heist, Death in Heaven, which completely disrespects the Brigadier and ruins the whole plot setup of the whole Cyberman and the Master. It kills off Osgood for no good reason. There's some of Jenna Coleman's acting, and I thought I liked Clara and 12 in Series 8, but I don't. And I don't like Clara and 12 at all throughout 12's era, which is something that's completely changed within me, which is weird. I used to really like Clara with 12, and more so than with 11. But I think I actually like her more with 11 now. It's weird. I like the Cybermen's involvement. I like the whole dead body thing, Missy harvesting the dead. That's such an interesting concept, and I feel like it was wasted. The whole arc with Missy, it was obviously the obvious answer was for it to be Missy. Well, though I like that it's Missy, yes, because I like Michelle Gomez's take on the Master, Missy. But do I wish it was something like the Rani? Absolutely. I would love to see the Rani make her return in the modern series, and that was the perfect opportunity to have it, but Moffat took the easy way out, and had Missy, the Master. I will say, this is where Moffat, it started in Series 6, but Moffat really starts to go down the pipeline with his complex storytelling in this series, in Series 9, Series 7, Series 6, Series 7 less so, but yeah, it doesn't really work as well. And the Paternoster gang, I'm glad that, I believe this was their last involvement in Deep Breath, but I'm glad they're gone. I enjoy Strax, but I don't know. I enjoy Strax, but I don't know if I enjoy him to the extent of him tarnishing the reputation of the Sontarans. So yeah, it's a balancing act, really. So yeah, Series 8, if there had been some more episodes that I liked, if I'd liked the whole Danny and Clara relationship, maybe this would have been higher. If the finale hadn't wasted its premise, then maybe it would have been higher. But for now, it sits at number 8. Moving on to number 7 now, we have the series that's probably slipped down the list quite a bit for me. I still enjoy a lot of the series, but using this percentage ratio and the episodes that I like, it has slipped down to number 7. We have Series 10.
Time.
Time and relative dimension in space. TARDIS for short. It means... what the hell?
Series 10 is the best of the Capaldi era. It's got Peter Capaldi at his best acting, it has the best companion in Bill Potts and Nardole, it has some of the best stories. It felt refreshing for the first time in the Moffat era since Series 5. The show was refreshing, and it took a soft reboot to do that. It's slightly weird doing a soft reboot on your last series, but it worked for Moffat, I feel. The only times that this series has been let down are some of the individual stories, like Empress of Mars or the Lie of the Land, but that's just letting down at the end of the trilogy. There are other episodes that let down, like Knock Knock is kind of meh for me. It kind of ruins its premise by the end of it. Other episodes like Eaters of Light, which it brought back Rona Munro, the person who wrote Survival. She came back and wrote this episode, but it was so bad. Think what other episodes we got here. Just Pilot is a good refreshing start. I did enjoy the pilot. Smile was decent. Thin Ice has the Doctor punching a racist, and how can you not like that? Oxygen, I love Oxygen. I've done my own interpretations of the whole themes around Oxygen. Extremists and the Pyramid of the World, I think, are really good episodes. And Ward Enough in Time and the Doctor Falls. Whew, what good episodes. You have some of the best Cybermen work in Ward Enough in Time. You have two Masters, and all of the Cybermen in the Doctor Falls, you have the beautiful ending of the Doctor Falls, and then you couple that with the Twice Upon a Time, which only exists because Moffat wanted to keep the time slot on Christmas Day for Doctor Who, and thanks Chibnall, we don't have that anymore. We might this year, but we haven't had that for the last couple of years. But instead of having Capaldi regenerate in the Doctor Falls, which he was initially intended to, we got Twice Upon a Time. And it is a beautiful story. It brings back the first Doctor, played by David Bradley, who done Adventure in Space and Time, who played the first Doctor Dan. And yeah, I really do enjoy this series a lot more than most people did. And I think that other than episodes like, again, Return of Dr. Mysterio has its ups and downs, but I feel like this series is kind of the victim of being a soft reboot at the end of a 3-year run. I feel like if Bill Potts had been introduced in Series 9 instead of Series 10, and we got 2 series of them, I think this would have been a lot higher. Maybe we could have got some more better stories out of it. But as now, it sits at number 7. Moving into our number 6 slot, we have the David Tennant specials from 2009. So from the next Doctor right the way through to the End of Time Part 2.
I'm going to die. But I was told. He will knock 4 times.
Even then, even if I change, it feels like dying.
Now, I have a weird relationship with these episodes because I don't like the next Doctor. The Planet of the Dead is meh to me. I like the Christina and the Doctor relationship. I like the whole Malcolm unit. I like how we have Lee Evans in this episode. He's brilliant in this episode as Malcolm. The unit's involvement in this episode is just really well done. But I don't feel like the villains hold up as well as they should. It's just kind of like an ever-looming presence, and it's a race against time almost episode to get out before they get you. It's more of a character-driven episode. I don't feel like a lot of the characters hold it up. Like, the best parts of this episode, like I said, are Malcolm, Christina, and the Doctor. Otherwise, this episode just doesn't have much substance to it, so I can't really rate it that highly in comparison to what follows it up, being The Waters of Mars, which is probably my favourite Doctor Who episode of all time. It's got one of the best tones, one of the best atmospheres, one of the best conclusions, Time Lord Victorious, which was just announced that we're going to be getting a whole line of Time Lord Victorious stuff, which I am so excited for. I'm tempted to do a video breaking down all the stuff we're going to be getting for Time Lord Victorious, because I'm so excited for that. But David Tennant's acting in The Waters of Mars is just on point. Adelaide shooting herself at the end to prove her point to the Doctor that he'd gone too far. It's perfectly, it's so poetic. The Doctor saying, "Is it my time? Is this it?" At the end of the episode, I love that. I read the deaths of each people on the Mars base. It was so tragic. The most heartbreaking one was where she could hear her children in the background as the water slowly creeped towards them. It's so heartbreaking because you can hear her kids talking to her and saying, "Mommy, is that you?" It's so heartbreaking. The Flood are some of the best villains who I don't want to return. So I feel if the Flood returned, it would ruin them. But yeah, oh my god, I could talk about The Waters of Mars forever. I love this episode. I think I've done a retrospective review on The Waters of Mars, like last year on my channel. If you want to check that out, feel free to. But The End of Time, oh boy. I have a mixed relationship with these episodes. I love part 1, part 2 not so much. Part 2 lets it down, because I don't like the whole, "Oh, I could do so much more." It's kind of, I know, it's the whole thing of the Doctor knowing that he's going to die, not sure if he's going to regenerate. But the 5th Doctor had no idea if he was going to regenerate in the case of Androzani, and he just got on with it. Why do we need this drawn out thing? What is it with the modern series Doctors, and like, not being so accepting of regeneration? Maybe you could make a case it's because they're older and they don't want to do it anymore. That works with Capaldi. That worked. That's something I failed to mention in Series 10. Capaldi's regeneration works so well. But David Tennant's regeneration and the whole, "I don't want to go," it just taints the start of Matt Swift run. And I will say that going into the 11th hour, I thought that the 11th Doctor had killed the 10th Doctor, because that's how it's framed in those episodes, that the 10th Doctor is dying, and this new man swans off and takes his place. I don't like that whole dynamic to do with it. So, yeah, that's The End of Time. I could go on a rant for a long time about the end of time. I know a lot of people love it, but I just can't get behind it. So, I think the only reason the specials are up this high is because of the Wars of Mars, and the first part of the end of time. Them being so strong, and I do like aspects of the End of Time Part 2 and some of the other episodes, so that does bring them up, and that brings up their percentage ratio a bit, and that's mainly because there's so little of them. There's only 5, so that's really brought that up to number 6. I think if I hadn't done it the way I've done it, maybe this would have been lower, but hey, it comes in at number 6. Moving into our top 5 now, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to take issue with me putting it this high, but I have Series 12.
The winds withered in the stagnant air, and the clouds perished. Darkness had no need of aid from them. She was the universe.
Say hello to the Doctor.
May I just say, you were quite lovely in a crisis.
No, you may not.
Why don't you ever share anything with us?
I share stuff.
Not about yourself, though. Yeah, you know everything about us.
And we know nothing about you.
You don't know me. Not even a little bit.
Do you see it? It's buried deep in all our memories. In our identity.
The most recent series of Doctor Who. Now, I like a lot of this series. I think there's like 2 episodes in this series that I don't like. And I feel like the series gets a lot of hate because people think that it's canon altering. I don't think that it is. I think it adds to the universe. I've said this before in all my other videos. Now, if you're gonna hate on this video because I put Series 12 so high, just let me know what your ranking is in the comment section below rather than spreading negativity. But, yeah. Series 12, Jodie Whittaker's performance really steps up in the series. They give Yaz something to do. Yes, it might have been at the cost of Ryan and Graham, but I really do feel like the Doctor and Yaz are standout in this series. You have villains like the Shad, the Lone Cyberman, the Cybermen coming back. You have Captain Jack's return, which completely took me by surprise. And when he came back, I freaking screamed at my nan that was Jack. That was such a good moment in the series for me. And the fact that the thing that I could praise this series most for is the fact that it kept everything secret. All of the big reveals were secrets and you're surprised. And I did not see the Master coming back in Spyfall. Spyfall was one of the most refreshing episodes of Doctor Who I've watched in a very long time. I love Spyfall. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terrors actually inspired me to do my own writing. I really love that historical, and I feel like that's the template for how historical should be done going forward. It's kind of like, it takes elements from Vincent and the Doctor, and it puts it in a different setting with Nikola Tesla. Praxeus is a good episode, bad timing. You can probably figure out why. I really do like the whole virus thing. I feel like if it didn't have the political undertones, it wouldn't get nearly as much hate as it did, because it really does give every companion something to do, introduces a new companion, and the Doctor and Yaz and their dynamic in this episode was really interesting. Can You Hear Me is probably the most underrated episode in this series. The undertones of 2 planets fighting against colliding and keeping this one god in the middle, and it being the subtle subtext of how mental health really affects you, and it really crushes you and makes you feel small and makes you like 2 walls coming in against you. It's such good imagery and such good metaphorical storytelling. Maybe they don't do so well with the gods, but I really do like the subtle undertones of this episode. The finale, Ascension of the Cybermen, the Haunting of Villa Diodati. Yes, I'm counting that as part of the finale because it introduces a Shad. The Haunting of Villa Diodati is one of the most atmospheric, one of the best episodes of Doctor Who in a very long time. Bring back Maxine Alderton for Series 13, please. She did a fantastic job. Moving into Ascension of the Cybermen, I feel like this is the most serious the Cybermen have been taken since Series 2. I absolutely loved it. And yes, you could argue that Series 10 had taken the Cybermen seriously, but I do feel like the Doctor Force does let that down a bit. The Cybermen are a threat. And in Ascension of the Cybermen, they're smart. They use the Cyberdrones, and I do like the Cyberdrones, to take down the Doctor's defenses. And the cliffhanger of them being stuck on the cyber warship above them as the Cybermen are coming for them is really good, and the cliffhanger of the Master coming back through the portal, through the gateway, is such a good thing. The finale is brilliant. I love the imagery of the cyber warship above the Citadel in Gallifrey. If it wasn't for the human cast and this being an hour long, if it was just Jodie and Sasha with maybe companions mixed in, I think this could be one of the best finales we've had in a long time, but the pacing really does let the story down. If this story was better paced, if it was a 50-minute episode, I feel like it would have worked a lot better. There's so much you could cut down in this episode, but after reading one of the Series 12 scripts for The Timeless Children, we know that Tecteun is actually, could be the other, one with the founding fathers of Gallifrey along with Rassilon and Omega, so I really do like that. And yeah, I'm going to cut off my talking about Series 12. I am going to be doing a review of Series 12 soon, like a full-on review, not just an arc review. So yeah, look up for that. So for now, Series 12 comes in at number 5. Moving into a top 4 now, we have Series 3 of Doctor Who.
I fancy a trip.
What, into space?
I can travel in time as well.
Get out of here.
I can.
Come on now, that is going too far.
I'll prove it.
Who are you?
I'm the Doctor.
Me too, if I can pass my exams.
What was your name?
Martha. Martha Jones.
Rose. Not that you're replacing her.
You never said I was.
Monsters! They're monsters!
It started. Doctor. Captain.
Series 3 is one of those most underrated series that of Doctor Who, especially of the David Tennant era. You ever hear people talking about, most of the time, how bad Series 2 could be, or how good Series 2 is, how amazing Series 4 is, and don't worry, you're going to see Series 4 on this list really soon. But I think Series 3 is underrated. I really love Martha Jones. Martha Jones is one of my favourite companions. The only companion to say, I've had enough, I'm not going to get what I want here, I'm going to leave, the people on this planet need me, so I'm going to go and help them. Now, do I think that the whole relationship subtext with Martha and the Doctor was the best handled, or how she was like the overshadow of Rose, and how Rose, the Doctor was constantly hung up on Rose in episodes like Shakespeare Code? No, I don't like that. But there are episodes where Martha just stands out, especially in the 3-part finale. Martha saves the universe. She saves the world. And if it wasn't for Martha, the Master would have continued ruling. The Doctor was taken out, Captain Jack was incapacitated, Martha was the last line of defense, and she saved the universe. So, she did it without having the extra help from the Doctor as well. Now, I know I sounded really robotic, but I wanted to emphasize that point, that Martha was the only companion to do that, and I really love that about her. Now, you have down points in the series, like the Dalek 2-parter, which really doesn't hold up, 42, but then you have the Family 2-parter, which, granted, I feel like I do have to be in the right mood to watch a Family 2-parter, but some of David Tennant's best acting is in that, and some of the best scenes with the Doctor, especially in the Family of Blood towards the end, and the whole choice between John Smith being a human and going back to being the Doctor is a really good scene. Then you have episodes like Blink, which is kind of classic, and what a Doctor Who light episode should be. You have the episodes like Smith and Jones is a really good series opener. It's one of the most underrated series openers. I really do like the Judoon. The Plasmavore is interesting. And I'll talk about the Christmas special, because it is included in the series. So, Catherine Tate, for her first attempt at Doctor Who, I don't think it was bad, but I really do feel for The Runaway Bride that the Doctor, David Tennant, does carry that episode a lot. Because the villain, she's trying to talk through the teeth, and she doesn't really get the job done. And it really does affect the performance for the actress, I feel. You have really good episodes in the series, but then you have some really lower lows, which drag this down to number 4. But, like I said, the really high highs in the performance from David Tennant, now he's not chained down to Rose. He really soars in this series, and he really steps up in line for Series 4. And I feel like Martha is one of the most underrated companions, I'll keep saying. I'll defend Martha until the end of time. I also forgot to mention things like Gridlock, the beautiful scene at the end with David Tennant where he talks about Gallifrey. It's one of the best moments of the modern series where he just sits down and Martha's like, no, if you don't tell me about this, I'm not leaving. And what are you going to do about it? So obviously then the Doctor then sits down and we have the Doctor talking about what he remembers of Gallifrey with the beautiful music from New Earth going on above them, and that's how the episode ends. I do love that, and how Gridlock has the return of the Macro. Now, the Macro were better in the classic series, especially in the animation of the Macro Terror, but I think they're decent villains in this. They could be better. So yeah, Series 3 of Doctor Who, one of the most underrated, comes in at number 4. Moving into our top 3 now, we have the series which has jumped up my list the most. Now, if you asked me before I'd rewatched it, Series 1
Doctor is a legend woven throughout history. When disaster comes, he's there. He brings the storm in his wake. And he has one constant companion.
Who's that?
Death.
Do you want to come with me? What's your name? Rose. Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
One will probably be in the middle of the list. I always saw it as more of an average series, but rewatching it recently, it is an amazing series with so many standout episodes. The first 3 episodes of Series 1 really do lay out what the template of Doctor Who is going to be going forward. You have standout performances from Christopher Eccleston, who does an amazing job as a Doctor. Anybody who says he phones in his performances in this series, I don't know where you see that. He does an amazing job, especially for the circumstances and what's been revealed about what's going on behind the scenes with him. I really have so much respect for Eccleston during this series. You have the introduction of fan-favorite characters like Captain Jack Harkness. Billy Piper was on her A-game in Series 1. Rose is a fantastic start to the episode series. Then you have the end of the world and the Unquiet Dead, which set up what the future stories are going to be like, and really show the Doctor's grief and the Doctor manifesting his grief and showing Rose how she feels in a physical way and showing her the destruction of the Earth. And then the Unquiet Dead sets the template for what historicals are going to be, introducing the historical figures and setting a story based around them, based around their life. That really just set the template up for Vincent the Doctor in Series 5, which I will talk about soon. You have episodes like the Slovene two-parter was nowhere near as bad as I remember it being. Even though having Mickey hack into NATO was a bit of a stupid move, it doesn't really make much sense, but it's manageable because there's some really standout scenes where the Doctor and they're standing around the table and they're like, narrows it down. They have this, narrows it down. Christopher Eccleston again, amazing performance. Boomtown. It's a really underrated gem, which was something that they had to include because they didn't have the budget for what they originally had planned, so they had to quickly write up an episode, and it was literally just the Doctor, Mickey, Jack, and Rose running around Cardiff for 45 minutes. It's brilliant. The finale is probably one of my favorite finales. It's so good, and Linda's death is so sad. I love Linda, and you just perfectly done because you just see the Dalek. She feel like she's so safe, and then you just still see the Daleks rise up. You don't even hear them say exterminate. You don't see the laser bolt go into her. You just hear her scream, and that's it. Linda's dead. The only gripe I'd have on the finale is how Rose essentially becomes a god to wrap up the whole thing, the whole arc. Now, granted, I do give this more leeway because it was set up. Bad Wolf was a thing that was set up, and I do like how they tie it up, how she sends them throughout time and space to lead her to that one moment. So that is well done, Russell. I will give you that one. But I don't know how I feel about her absorbing the time vortex, and then the Doctor's regeneration scene is perfectly done. It's like, you know what? You were fantastic. And so was I. I really do like that, and Christopher Eccleston, because it's instant. He accepts that he's dying, and he regenerates. It's not a big, drawn-out thing. But, at the same time, I don't feel that Bad Wolf holds up as much. You could look at it, I do look at it in some aspects as like a time vault. You look back, oh, this is what time was like in 2005, because you have all of the most popular game shows on at the time in 2005 in this episode. You've got Big Brother, Stars in Your Eyes, you got, The Weakest Link, I love the Android. So yeah, this does have a time vault aspect in Bad Wolf, but Series 1 has really standout episodes. An introduction of Jack and the gas mask mummy, the gas mask zombie two-parter, The Empty Child, and the Doctor Dances. There's a lot of sexual undertones in that episode, but it is a really good episode, and it's really creepy, and probably one of Moffat's best scripts he's ever turned in, especially in the era where he wasn't the showrunner. He's probably, a lot of people say his writing was at his best when he wasn't in the writing in his era in the show, and I tend to agree, and this is one of the examples of that. The creepy atmosphere, and it's one of those occasions where I do like that just as once, everybody lives. It does go on to become a theme throughout the modern series, but it works here, and I really do like it. So yeah, Series 1 comes in at number 3. Now, if you've been paying attention closely, you could probably figure out what the top 2 are, but you don't know what order they're going to be in. So is it going to be Series 5, or is it going to be Series 4 that's number 2? And I'm going to have to say it's Series 5.
My name is Amy Pond. When I was 7, I had an imaginary friend. Last night was the night before my wedding. And my imaginary friend came back.
So, all of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will, where do you want to start?
Which is surprising, because that used to be my favourite series, but after going through it and realising that how many episodes I really enjoy and how many episodes that I dislike, it does work out that Series 5 has less episodes that I enjoy than Series 4 does. But talking about Series 5 is a magical era of the show. Stephen Moffat had a monumental task of reinventing Doctor Who after the BBC were thinking about axing it towards the end of the David Tennant era. They just couldn't see how Doctor Who would continue without David Tennant and Russell T Davies. But Moffat, to his credit, does come in and he lays out a plan and he executes it perfectly. Matt Smith is amazing as the 11th Doctor. Karen Gillan is great as Amy Pond, apart from the one scene where she tries to rape the Doctor, but we won't talk about that. Arthur Darvill as Rory is just so sweet in this series. The opening at the 11th hour was recently done for a global watch-along, as was Vincent and the Doctor, and they still stand up today. They're such good episodes. Matt Smith's acting is top-notch in that. Episodes like Victory of the Daleks have some really redeeming moments in them, which I do enjoy. Granted, the Power Ranger Daleks aren't that good, but there's some really dark moments with the Doctor beating the Dalek. The Angel two-parter has its moments. I don't like that we see the Angels moving, but it has its moments. The finale is the start of Moffat's issue of having a fantastic first part, and then it leads into a really let down, try and throw everything in to try and wrap up the series arc conclusion in the Big Bang. Which, I think if this wrapped up Series 5, as well as Series 4, Journey's End wraps up Series 4, I feel like this could be above Series 4, but the finale really does let down the series. The Voice is a fantastic series. It really redefines the show. The fairy tale aesthetic I really do love. The Beast Below has some fantastic moments with Amy, and comparing the Doctor to the Star Whale is such a beautiful moment. Other episodes, like The Lodgers, I really do like Craig, and I really do like the Doctor going into his life, and the Doctor in kind of like a sitcom-esque scenario. Amy's Choice is still a good episode, and it shows like the differences between Amy's dream life and TARDIS life, and I really do like the Dream Lord, and Toby Jones does a fantastic job as the Dream Lord. It's like asking to Rory, so ask me what happens if you die in real life? What happens? You die, idiot. I really do like the snappy dialogue, and that's what Doctor Who is known for, and that's what runs through the series with the snappy dialogue. Like I said, the finale, the first part, the Pandorica opens perfectly, has a set up promise, but in blowing up the universe, how do you resolve that? There's no proper way that you can resolve blowing up the universe without having some kind of bullshit excuse, and having the Big Bang 2 kind of works, but at the same time, it doesn't work. And that's why Moffat lets himself down here. I feel if the finale, like I said, if the finale was better, the second part was better, it could be above Series 4. But because it doesn't, and because other episodes let it down, like Victory of the Daleks not being as good as it could be, Vampires in Venice is actually an undivided episode, but there are some other episodes which do drag it down, and other parts I don't enjoy as much as Series 4, so yeah, that lands Series 5 at number 2. Moving into our number 1 spot, you already know what it is. It's Series 4 of Doctor Who.
What for?
The right man. He's real. I've seen him. I've met him just once, and then I let him fly away. If you ever see a little blue box flying up there in the sky, you shout for me, Gramps. Oh, just shout. No matter what's happening. And I'm sure it's bad, I get that. Rose is coming back. Isn't that good?
Series 4 is just a perfect series. There are a couple of episodes that I don't think stand out as much, like The Planet of the Ood. There's a couple of others that are a bit duds. The Doctor's Daughter is another one. But overall, this is the most consistent that Doctor Who has ever been. It's probably, people refer to it as the golden era of Doctor Who for a reason. David Tennant and Catherine Tate are just a perfect pair, and they've proven that for the different scenarios they put themselves in, especially not outside of Doctor Who as well. They're just a comedy duo, and I love the Doctor and Donna. This has the most consistent run from the Library two-parter right the way up to Journey's End. It's just golden Doctor Who. Midnight, for an episode that was written in I believe it's written over a weekend as a filler because they didn't have enough budget. It's one of the best episodes in the series, and it's amazing. Turn Left is a fantastic thing of what if the Doctor died. I love those scenarios of what ifs, because obviously it was in a parallel dimension, so you can do stories like that. The finale, well, I think that Russell does get caught up in giving everybody something to do, and so not everybody has something to do, where you need characters like Mickey and Jackie, which kind of wandering around the Dalek ship, not really having much to do. I feel like that it does let it down, but just seeing everybody together in like an Avengers Infinity War Endgame style story is just so fan service, and I love it. And fan service in the best way possible. You have things like Sarah Jane Smith, you have Torchwood coming back, you have Unit, the Daleks, and a big invasion. It's such well done, and I like how the Stolen Earth perfectly balances the Earth storyline with the Doctor finding out what's going on. I feel like if Chibnall had done that with his era, it could have been a lot better. And yeah, I really do like this series. There are standout episodes which I don't think are underrated. I think Unicorn and the Wasp is a fantastic episode. The Library two-parter is a standout of the series, probably one of the best two-parters we've ever gotten. Introduces the character of Riversong and her complex character story, which gets developed through the Moffat era later on. You have episodes like Partners in Crime, which adipose are adorable, and I love the whole story aspect. The Fires of Pompeii, and the Donna's ending, and the Doctor saving that one family. I don't particularly enjoy how they're heralded as gods after that, but the story is perfect. You have the Sontaran story, which is a real turnaround for me. I used to find it boring, but I really do enjoy it now. Yeah, this is just a perfect series. There are a couple of blemishes on it which bring it down a bit. I do give it a 9 out of 10 overall, but I really do enjoy this series. There is not one thing I can fault it on that makes it really, really bad. If the specials were attached to this, which is no way they can be because they are separated as their own thing, but if the specials were attached to this, maybe it will slip down to number 3, but there's no way this series slips out of the top 5 no matter what you do to it. It's that good. I just love this, and I could rewatch this series for eternity. It's that good. This is probably the best, one of the best that the Doctor Who has looked during the Russell T Davies era, and probably the best Doctor Who looked up until about Series 7, which is really weird to think, because you think they'd get more budget going into the Matt Smith era, but Series 7 is the best it looked, and then jumping forward to Series 12, where it looks probably the best it's looked, but Series 4 is quite underrated in how it's visually presented. And I love Murray Gold's music. There's something I'm glad to say. Through Series 1, through Series 10, Murray Gold's music is amazing. Singing and Glenolda's music is good in Series 11 and 12, but you just can't. Murray Gold is just something else. And yeah, that wraps up my ranking of the technically 13 series of Doctor Who. This is a long one, and believe me, my voice has felt it. But let me know what your rankings are of the Doctor Who series down below. Please keep it polite. And if you watched this far, thank you. And hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. And stay safe. See you guys in the next video. Peace.